Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Interchange podcast. On today's episode, I'll be talking about being present and what that means to me. So, when I say the word present or being present, what does that bring up for you? What is the first thing that you think about? You're probably thinking meditation, breath work, all that type of thing, which are actually great ways of being present. But being present doesn't have to be that complicated. It could mean actually listening when someone's talking to you. That's a big part of being present. Being present in your relationships, and actually being there, not just being distracted on your phone. Being present and being in the moment is what being present is all about. So, people talk about mindfulness, and I actually had a great lesson in this the other week when I spoke with Cooper Chapman. If you guys have seen that podcast, awesome. If you haven't, definitely give it a watch. But he said there's opportunities for us to be mindful in everything we do every day. It could come down to taking a second to chew our food and actually experience each flavor, or walking outside and experiencing the sunshine on our skin and seeing what that feeling is like and taking that actually in. So being present, being mindful are quite similar things to me. That's what I believe anyway. And when it comes to being present, it's really about listening to what you need and actually taking in everything that's going on around you. So, like I said, when it comes to conversations with people, actually taking the time to listen and hear every word and not just waiting to try and say what you want to say, waiting for them to finish speaking, which is something I catch myself doing all the time. You're trying to one up them almost, or you think that what you have to say is more important than them. Sometimes people just want you to be present, and that's going to help you to form more meaningful connection in every kind of relationship you could possibly have. But for me, there's two times in my life that I know that I am forced to be absolutely present because depth, death, and danger are the two things that are going to be the outcome if I am not 100% present. And I think that everyone should have one of these two things, or not one of these two things specifically, but at least one of these types of things that makes them to be present or forces them to be present every day in their life. So for me, that's skydiving and boxing. Now, obviously, with both of those, there's a big part of it which brings adrenaline. But for me, it's not just about the adrenaline. The thing that I enjoy most about either one of these sports is the fact that if you're not present, you're going to end up really, really hurt, if not dead. Hey, hello. Sorry for interrupting your podcast, but I just wanted to quickly jump on and tell you about the must have personal development tool for 2023, and it's called the Happier, Healthier You Journal. So I'll take you back to about 6 years ago. I'd just gotten out of jail for the last time and was starting my journey of personal development and growth. There was heaps of gurus, heaps of information available, but so much so that it became confusing. So I came up with the Happier, Healthier You journal to help you to navigate what can be an absolute minefield. From the very get-go, you open the page and it'll challenge you to dive deep with self-assessments, daily activities, and check-ins to figure out exactly where you're at, where you'd like to be. And then from there, the journal becomes the tool to help you to bridge that gap. So to get your hands on this, click on the link below and don't forget to use Interchange 10 at checkout for a cheeky 10% off. I'll see you back over on the episode. And that's something I've experienced firsthand. So I had a skydiving almost accident where I had a low pull at about 1,700 feet, which is, for lack of a better way of explaining it, about 7 seconds from hitting the ground. And this was my own fault. So I was on my sixth assisted free fall jump, which was part of the skydiving course. I panicked a little bit because when I reached behind me to pull the ripcord, I couldn't feel it. So I panicked. I wasn't present. I was thinking about all the other things going on around me. I went to reach for it again. I reached a little bit too high and I couldn't feel it. It's called a hacky at the time, or a pud, right, where the ripcord is. And it's something that you pull and throw, and it throws out something called your pilot chute. And your pilot chute will come out then and open the big parachute up and pull it out of the container. So I freaked out because I couldn't find this pud or this hacky, and I went to throw it and there was nothing there. So what did I do? I panicked. I started swimming in the air, and I was falling through space and time is what it felt like because everything just slowed right down. Now, I stopped for a second. I breathed. And the first thought that came to my mind is that if I don't pull this parachute out, I'm never going to see my son again. So by being present in the moment and experiencing what exactly was going on, because trust me, everything was going through my head. I thought this was the time I was going to die. I was like, what's going on here? Holy fuck. I literally just gave up for a second. But by bringing myself back and being present in the moment, I was able to find that parachute, and trust me, I found it pretty fucking quick. I threw it, and by some miracle, even though I was spinning, the parachute opened up perfectly. I was very lucky that that happened. So if you're in a situation where you're spinning and you try and open the parachute, you can end up with all kinds of issues like line twists. You could have malfunction when it opens. There's all sorts of things that could happen. Could have a rough opening. These are all bad things, right? You want to have a nice clean opening when it comes to skydiving. But by some miracle, I got away with that one and landed pretty much perfectly. So I had to repeat that jump, obviously, because I didn't pull my hacky at the required height, which was 6,000 feet. So I fell from about 6,000 feet to 1,700, and I was freaking out the entire time. And trust me, the adrenaline dumps on that were crazy. But you know what I learned from that experience was that it was my own fuck up. It was nothing to do with the equipment. It was nothing to do with the sport. It was nothing to do with the instructor that was there. It was all my own doing. And it was because I wasn't in the moment. I was panicking. I was freaking out. So by slowing everything down, taking a nice big deep breath, in the future when something similar to this has happened, it's allowed me to actually come out obviously on top still. The other time in my life where I am forced to be 100% present is in the boxing ring. So for anyone that's been following my journey, you guys probably know that I've had 3 fights. I lost one and won two, or didn't win two. I won one, and then the third one was like a corporate type fight, so everyone was a winner type thing. It was through my boxing gym's promotion, and it was an amazing night. With that experience, I actually jumped in the ring with 2 boys that night, and we had like a round robin type Shark Tank sparring sort of fight. So we were in there for 3 minutes, and after a minute and a half, someone else would jump out and jump back in. But the thing is, look, all that aside, doesn't matter. The idea behind this is that when you're in the ring, if you're not present, you're going to get punched in the fucking face. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt again, but if you're liking what you see so far, don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends. Remember, all your support is really appreciated, and I'll see you back over on the episode. Simple as that. And trust me, there's plenty of times when I've jumped into spar and I haven't been in the moment, and all of a sudden I've got blood pissing out of my nose. And it pulls me back into line pretty bloody quick, that's for sure. But by being present in these moments, it's allowed me to be present in a lot of other areas of my life and actually but be grateful for a lot of other things in my life. This is the thing, by being present in every moment, or every moment that you can possibly could, it's going to allow you to be a lot more grateful for the things around you, because you actually don't see them for what they are. Whereas when you're in this rush all the time and living in the digital world that we live in, where we have so many distractions, it's so hard to switch off from everything going on around us and actually take the time that we need to come back to ourselves, which is the most important thing overall, isn't it? We need to be making sure that we're taking that time for ourselves, that time that we need to actually defrag from our day. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, time is something that is limited. And if we're not giving time to ourselves and giving time to what we need to do, or what we feel we need to do, then in turn, it's probably going to mean that your time's going to be limited. And if you do have a lot of time, it's going to be spent doing things that are probably not desirable to you. Another great time to be present is when it comes to being a father for me. This is another time when I'm not forced to be present, but as of late, I've noticed that there was a lot of time there where I wasn't present. So I'd be sitting with my son, even if we're just watching TV together, he'd be watching whatever he's watching, and I'm on my phone. That's not being present. And the kids, they pick up on this stuff, okay? It's the same with relationships. If you're not present in your relationships, people pick up on that. They can see that you don't really want to be there, that you're distracted. So word to the wise, sorry. Take the time to actually connect with the people that you're around. Look them in the eye, make eye contact, have real in-depth conversations, talk about real shit, not who liked what on Instagram and who followed you, and that you didn't get the things that you wanted or the results that you wanted in whatever it was. But actually take the time to have in-depth conversations and ask people, how are you? We ask people how they are all the time, and 99% of the time, yeah, mate, I'm good. But if you actually take the time to ask them really how they are, I'm guaranteeing that you'll a lot of the time get a different answer. Because what we do, we brush it off, okay? People ask us how we are, and we think, well, they don't really give a fuck, so I'm just going to tell them what they want to hear, and that shuts the conversation down. So by being present in your friendships, in your relationships, in your role as a father, as a mother, whatever it may be, it's going to allow you to have deeper connection overall. Not just with other people, but also with yourself. So coming back to that authenticity, and obviously that being present for yourself, when you can show up for yourself 100%, and be present for yourself, it's going to mean that you're going to be able to be present and show up for other people also, because a lot of the time what we tend to do is we give. We people please, we do all this sort of stuff, and then that takes away from who we truly are. And every time we do that, we're actually losing a little bit of who we are because we're not giving back to ourselves. So when you can start to practice being present, in turn, it's also going to allow you to start showing up as a better father, a better mother, a better lover, a better partner. It doesn't matter. All these people who are relying on us would say, and need us to be present. Well, we can't be present for them until we can be present for ourselves. So, like I said, find that one thing for you, whatever it may be, that helps to keep you present, and do it every day. If it's sitting down for 10 minutes with no distractions, no phone, no people, no emails, no voice notes, no nothing, okay? Just sit and see what comes up for you and take it all in. Yes, you're going to have thoughts that rush through your head, okay? These things that are coming to your head are probably the things you need to actually be focusing on, because consciously, you're probably pushing them away, but subconsciously, all the stuff that you need to hear and see will always come to you one way or another. And by taking the time to be present every day, you can do it through meditation. I'm not talking sitting down with a guided meditation, because once again, that's something that's distracting you. I'm talking about sitting down and actually taking the time to take in everything around you. You can do it with your eyes closed, you can do it with your eyes open, but don't have any distractions. Lie out in the sun, even on the grass, feel the earth, and be grateful for that. Be present in the moment that you're in right now, and be grateful for everything that you have, because there's so many people that aren't living the lives that we live and haven't got the benefits and the privileges that we do. Once again, I think that obviously being mindful, being present, and being grateful are all three of the same kind of branch. They all come together, they all help us to be better as human beings. And that's what this is all about, isn't it? It's about being the best version of ourselves and showing up as our happiest, healthiest self. And if you can't be precious, if you can't be present with yourself, in turn, you cannot be happy, because you're always going to be looking for something else, something external to make you feel good. I need the new car, I need the new watch, I need the new house. And what happens when you get these things? You still feel like shit, because you're like, well, what next? But when you can start to learn to be present and go within rather than going outwards, in turn, you're going to start to love yourself, you're going to have better self-worth, and in turn, it's going to mean that you are going to have better quality of life overall. So that's my little rant today on being present. And like I said, I've got my two things, but what are yours? What are your things that you use to stay present or use to ground you? I'd love to hear about those. Drop them below in the comments, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Interchange podcast.